Hello YouTube people, and welcome to the second installment of the Volvo S40. Today I'm going to try and attempt to mend the fuel gauge. It's been reading 0. I've done over 1,000 miles in this car and it's come to the point where I really need to get this fixed. So today I'm going to try and mend the fuel gauge and hopefully try and fit a new fuel filter. So wish me luck. It's first time. I've been told it's located underneath the back seat, but I'm going to try and mend the fuel gauge. That would be absolutely amazing if I get this mended. Okay, thank you. I've already vacuumed, but it looks like I'm going to have to take the rear seats out. And those are the 4 bolts to get to the pump. So I think that's the best thing I can actually do, is take the seats out. It's going to give me more space. Don't forget, I've disconnected the battery. So messing on with the fuel pump, I know I can't be electrocuted. I'm just making sure that everything's safe. Okay, I'm going to keep going with the rear. See, it's coming apart. Lots and lots of wires. You can see wires on the left hand side, the right hand side. But what I'm more concerned about is that something's been spilt and it's all so sticky. So what I think I must do is clean all that down even before I open up the fuel pump. It's absolutely just sticky. Something's been spilt and then left to dry. It's absolutely, well, it's hideous actually. It's just sticky and awful. Much better if you just have a look. It's nice and clean. Where you plug the seat belts into, it's actually really nice and clean. The other side is, and you can see where the fuel pump is located. So hopefully, if I undo those 4 bolts or 4 screws, I should be able to access the fuel pump. Again, I'm going to be opening up the tank, so you've got to make sure that no debris actually falls into the tank, and this is the reason why I'm being quite meticulous with cleaning every part of the boot. So far so good. Right, wish me luck. So I've taken the cover off, and this is the big reveal. I think you can just pull it. That's what I've read, and sure enough, you can see it goes on like that, and then you can see the pump. There's a couple of, well, it looks like that's the in or out. This is the in, and I think this is the out. That's the socket for the gauge and pump. So now I need to remove the pipes and actually start, but before that I must clean it. I don't want any dirt or dust in the tank. So again, being meticulous, I must clean that. So that's my clean. This is what's upside down. This is just for reference. But now what I need to do is to actually disconnect the pipes. So we've got here, this is the out of the petrol, and this is the in. This is the pump and the gauge. So I'm just going to give it all a good clean and see if it'll work before I remove it. So it's getting there, and again you can see it's very clean. I don't want any dirt or any debris in that tank. So I'm using those brushes. Very good. I'm actually over the moon with that. Okay, got a smell of petrol now, but I've removed the intake and outtake and the wiring. I've checked it all, I've cleaned it, and it's still not working. So the next thing I need to do is actually remove the pump. I've cleaned all the contacts, cleaned it the best I can, used these new pliers which my brother bought me. So now let's try and remove the pump. Wish me luck. Wish me luck. The oil filter remover that I use for my MG, and it looks like it's going to fit. So I'm going to get a ratchet and see if I can remove it, but it's sitting where it should be. If it works, I'm a very lucky boy. Very lucky. So wish me luck, but this is for an oil filter. I've been using this for my MG. But it seems to sit there 1/2 inch. So I'm actually getting quite confident that it's actually going to work. So anyway, let's have a go. I'm back. I've got my ratchet ready. I can't do it at the same time, but you can see how it works. It's an old filter removal tool, but sits there nicely. So I'm happy about that, and I think it's just a matter of just twisting the outer ring and it should all come loose. So I just thought I'd show you that part, but it sits there lovely. I've disconnected all the pipes, the connector, I've got the serial number, so it's looking good. I've got the ring off. That's the sealing what goes under. I'm just doing this for reference purposes. So it goes under that there, but it's out now. I just need to drain it. So yeah, I had to use the screwdriver. It was too tight for the old filter removal tool, but a hammer and a screwdriver always works. So I'm happy with that. As you can see, I've got the pump out, and I found the problem. And if I just do that, you can see there is a wire hanging off. So that needs to go into that contact there. I was going to solder it, and my brother suggested that what I should do is just crimp it on with the connector. And if I look over here, sorry, what I have here is some connectors which I can crimp on. So I'm going to clean, fast drying contact cleaner. This part is where, you know, that would be full, and that would be empty. Half full, full, empty. But it's on a circuit board, and you can see that circuit board, it's had many times of going up and down over the years. So what I need to do is just clean it. I'm going to clean all the surfaces and just make sure that everything's got a good contact. A very thin wire. So I'm just going to make sure that I do get a good hold and get a good bite on it. So wish me luck, but I've cleaned it all. If you can, when you saw it at the very beginning, it was all dirty, but now it's all dry. It's been cleaned out. There was a lot of grime inside. Actually, black petrol came out. Actually, I think that must have been the sediment or whatever it was, but it was black what came out. It's quite frightening, actually. It doesn't have a filter. I thought that was the filter there, but it's not. It's just a pump or part of it. And you can just see there, that's a little float. However, if I can fix this, that would be absolutely wonderful. If you could, you know, save a lot of money. Actually, I think on eBay they're charging maybe around about £50 for a second-hand pump from a scrapyard. So I really want to save this pump, and I'm sure I can. So again, I always say wish me luck, because again, this is the first time. So let's clean the contact board, and then let's try and crimp the wire on, and hopefully I'll put it back in tonight. As you can see, I've cleaned the board. If I just zoom in there, it's nice and clean. Before there was brown marks on there, so I've cleaned it with contact cleaner. But what I've noticed as well, is if I just do that, is that that's bent there. And when I took it out the tank, it was all mangled. So I don't know what's happened. However, I need to get maybe a hairdryer, and I just need to move it back to where it should be, and then I'm just going to crimp it. I do have a spade terminal which will actually, it's small enough to do that. So it's getting there. It's all dry. I've cleaned as much as I can. There's no more debris in there. So I'm just going to get a hairdryer and actually straighten that. But you can just see there, and you can just see how the wires come off, and just that little wire there basically renders the fuel gauge useless. So hopefully when I put this back together, I should have a working fuel gauge. But yeah, it's a lot better. Cleaned all the terminals in there. It's just nice and clean, actually. And I'll put some silicone lubricant when I put it back together. When I put the rubber back together and put it back together tonight. So it is coming together. As you can see, I always put my glasses down. This is what I've been using. So contact, I've got a lubricant as well what goes with that, but I know it's going in the tank, so it's pointless. I might put some lubricant onto the joints here, just to put them on, make sure they're nice and tight. And I've got some grease, which I'll put on there, and it'll act as a lubricant again, but it'll probably seal it down. And I've marked the ring so things are looking good. So let's get on and let's get this finished. See, the pump's been cleaned. I've crimped it on. I've cleaned the circuit board, which you can see. That belongs to the float, which you can see there. I've put silicone lubricant on the rubber, so it won't damage the rubber, but it'll just aid going back onto the tank. So again, I always say, wish me luck, but it's getting there. It's a lot better and it's actually connected. So fingers crossed it will work. Been using again WD-40 contact cleaner. So let's put it back together. Just again, I'm not going to show you it all. Just reverse. But I'm very happy about that. That is absolutely super. That's another job I can tick off. Right, thank you. Like, share and subscribe. It's all back in. As you can see, it's all tightened up. I've got my car keys there. It's starting to come quite dark. I don't know what time it is, but it's all sealed. Got some silicone lubricant, but it's looking good. Right, the moment of truth. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. It's now working. I now have a working fuel gauge. I'm pleased about that. Working fuel gauge, that's another job done. That's half a tank, and that's about right actually. That's about right. So yeah, I'm actually really happy about that. Just going to turn back. Are there any leaks? And no, it's actually all dry. No leaks whatsoever. So that's another job. Pleased about that. Yeah, and I need to extinguish the service light, but now I do have a working fuel gauge. All back together, back seats back in again, vacuumed, trims back on, and you would never think it's been out. However, I do now have a working gauge. That makes me a happy man. Like, subscribe and share.